Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back. I'm not looking forward to freaking interrogating this guy again. Sorry. But yes, we are back on the trial of, well, Maya Faye's been accused of being a witch, and we're trying to prove that she's not the witch right now, and I believe the witnesses are... all I've just explained what they saw, so we are in the middle of cross-examination right now. God, what is wrong with me today? Hi! But anyway, let us continue on then. Since we just heard the witnesses, we're at the point of actually, cross-examining them. And I believe we are going to press on Miss Primstone here.
Hold
it! Are you saying you think they quarreled?
The other day, I saw you all together in this very court and you were evidently friends.
Well, yeah, that's true. But what's that got to do with...
Now everyone, listen carefully. No chatting in the back row. What I say now will be in the next exam. Miss Primstone's lesson number 5. Friendship leads to nothing but trouble. People would not break up and part their ways in anger if they did not become friends in the first place.
The kids in her class must grow up to be model citizens.
Oh, dearie, dearie me! What I saw in that room curdled the blood in my veins. Mr. Silkhat was pointing that glittering knife ever so threateningly.
Oh, hello. Who was that just answered? Hello, Luke.
Hang on!
Is everything okay, Luke?
No, of course it's not okay. The professor was a true gentleman. And no gentleman would go around threatening people with knives.
I couldn't agree more.
Silly boy, I saw your professor pointing a knife. Are you insinuating that I'm a liar, you cheeky little whipsnapper? The professor would never do that. You don't know him.
At least Luke's found someone else to antagonize. Whose side are you on, Luke?
Mr. Wright.
What is it?
I think there was some important information in Miss Primstone's testimony.
Really?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not my place to say things like that.
I didn't notice anything. What could that be? Gee, I don't know. What was Isabella about to say? Speak up, Isabella. Isabella, why don't you tell us all what you've noticed?
Oh, is that okay? It's just something I'd like to ask Miss Primstone about.
Well, just go ahead and ask her.
Excuse me, Miss Primstone. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Oh, it's you! Miss Isabella Cantabella!
Miss Primstone, did you actually see the knife that Mr. Layton was holding?
I did. As a matter of fact, yes. I remember that glinting blade very well. A most frightening sight it was, too. I'm pretty sure that the glint is coming from the gold, and it's from his pointing finger, Miss Primstone.
And you saw that from the door, didn't you? Now, if you look at the sketch... when incident took place, Mr. Layton must have been facing this way, correct?
That must have been the case. Otherwise, the witness would not have been able to see it.
Well, that's all I wanted to ask. The more information we have, the better, right?
The direction the professor was facing. That could be important. This information shall be added to the court record. Thanks for the update.
I'm sorry I jumped in like that, but I really wanted to help.
Not at all, Isabella. We were able to get some more info, which may just come in handy.
You think so?
Now then, the next witness shall continue with the testimony. Not that. Okay, this is where we presented the floor plan because, well, in order to see the knife, it would be pointing at the door, right? And where was Maya in the floor plan?
Objection!
Luke, you said that you only believe what you see with your own eyes. But what you think you saw may not be the whole truth.
Huh? What do you mean?
Oh god, I have a lot of junk on here. Hold on a second. My computer's spazzing out. Take a close look at the sketch of the crime scene. At the time of the incident, Professor Layton and Maya were standing here. Now, we have learned from Miss Primstone's testimony which way the professor was facing. He was facing this way.
Oh.
You have testified that the professor confronted Maya face to face. But looking at the sketch where they were standing, one thing is clear. There is a contradiction in your testimony.
Huh?
Objection!
This is so fun. Whether they were facing each other or not is of no relevance whatsoever. They were the only ones in that room. One was a victim, thus the other must be the witch.
Objection!
Oh, God. Bottom, please. I will ask you to wait before jumping to conclusions, Inquisitor. Think back to Miss Primstone's testimony. She told us that the professor was pointing a knife at someone, threateningly. Excuse me. However, you can see in the sketch that he wasn't threatening Maya. So then, who was he pointing the knife at?
Hold it!
He has his own hold it. That's so cute. Luke, what is it?
The professor would never point a knife at anyone. I was the one who opened the door to that room, so I was the first witness. And I saw no knife. Miss Primstone's testimony is not reliable.
Oh, dearie me! Will you look at this child, sputtering nonsense and talking badly of his elders? Maybe because you're old and you can't see, right? Inquisitor Bottom? Yes, my lord. It should pose no difficulty to verify whether or not the victim had a knife. After all, that sparkly golden body of his has been found at the scene of the crime, has it not? There's a slight problem, though. Indeed it has, my lord. Court attendants, you heard the judge. Bring the victim into the courtroom. Seems like they're going to bring the gold statue.
Professor!
I'm sorry. The golden statue and we get his theme. Oh my god, his hand! Look at that. Did it get damaged in transit?
Professor! Professor!
Oh dear. So this is the power of the gold transmutation spell. Most spectacular. It looks like a work of the finest artisans. I bet it's made of copper. I assure you, it is the work of no artisans, my lord. By the way, the missing arm has not yet been found.
I can't believe this! Professor!
I suppose we should add the victim to the evidence. Awkward. The poor professor who, while searching for evidence, became evidence. Golden Layton added to the court record. He's so fab. This is unfortunate. I thought the evidence would be as good as gold. But, although it technically is, we are still no closer to discerning whether or not the victim was holding a knife.
Hold it! Let me speak, please!
Maya, the professor didn't have a knife. And also, there was another person in that room.
The real witch was there too, believe me!
Oh no, I'm giving her an accent. Stop. Accused, do I really need to warn you again? Inside the cage, you are to behave like a bird that has forgotten its song. Speak again, and you shall be punished. Or are you in a particular hurry to taste the flames of justice, little bird?
Objection!
But it's true that someone else could have been at the crime scene. Look at the sketch. The victim was facing towards someone, and that person wasn't Maya. Sir Blue Knight, your ignorance is no longer even a surprise. Huh? You do not know what transpired at the crime scene. You think this man was pointing at another person, you say. Let me tell you this. Nearly everyone in this court other than you knows what Sir Hat was pointing at.
What?
Well, honorable witnesses, is that not so? I am here punching bag the first. Love me some gossip and stories of the occult.
It elusive like mist, the magical beast, his chilly breath brings about death. Oh, dearie, dearie me! You could use some education, Blue Knight. I can offer you private tuition, but it will not come cheap. If the professor wasn't confronting Maya...
Witnesses, you will now testify. Tell us all about this other presence at the crime scene. Oh boy. What is that bottle he's holding with the skull? Like, what the heck is he drinking? We all know what happened to that alchemist, so this case is no mystery.
Same place, same magic trick. But this time her luck ran out and she dropped that magic scepter. The truth obscured by a twisted ruse, the witch couldn't vanish, but did confuse. It happened because the professor unraveled the mystery behind all these witches.
The same magic trick was used? They are referring to an incident from 3 months ago. Much like this incident, a man lost his life to witchcraft in that very room. It was the master of that residence, Sir Newton Belduke, the alchemist. He suffered death by strangulation. Finger marks were left on his neck. He had locked himself in his study, and the key was still in his pocket. In other words, no one could have entered that room. The perpetrator disappeared from a locked room? Just like in this case. A large amount of powdered medicine was spilled all over the floor. Powdered medicine? Sir Belduke was an alchemist. He possessed various medicinal concoctions. Due to the presence of that powder, had anyone entered the room, clear footprints would have remained. Yet there were none.
That's the kind of mystery the professor would have loved to solve.
Thus, there were 2 unnatural circumstances to Sir Belduke's death: the culprit's disappearance from a locked room, and the fact that they appeared not to have walked on the floor. It's almost as if they flew away.
In other words, it would have been the Demiri magic that was used in my case the other day.
Seems like the killer levitated above the floor, strangled Belduke, and vanished into thin air. But what does that have to do with this trial? It has been 3 months since that murder. Despite that, we still haven't been able to find the witch responsible. But now, having eluded us for so long... Oh my god, they're accusing Maya! That witch has finally been brought before this court. We will have justice.
What?! No way! Now he thinks Maya killed the alchemist too!
We weren't even here back then. But it's not like I can explain that to him. Oh dear. Well then, why don't you interrogate the witnesses? Now that you are aware of the connection between the 2 murders.
Objection!
You can't be serious! 3 months ago we weren't even... Defender, you may interrogate the witnesses. May their testimonies lead us to the truth. Oh, good lord. This just got worse. Anyway. Alright, we're gonna be pressing on Miss Primstone again. Goodbye, Amir. I don't care about you.
Hold it!
Would you care to elaborate on that, Miss Primstone?
You could say I'm a scholar, and my knowledge is vast and diverse. I know a thing or two about witchcraft. Therefore, I have a very good idea of the type of magic that must have been used this time.
The magic behind this mysterious figure that appeared out of nowhere, glided through the air and vanished after making the kill?
Yes! Indeed, yes, and the witch's scepter confirms my theory.
A brilliant deduction. I am honored to have studied under an excellent teacher such as yourself, Miss Primstone. Oh, good god. She was his teacher? Actually, I guess that kind of explains a lot. Our occult crime analysis have arrived at the same conclusion.
Mr. Wright! I found it, the page about the purple magic gem. The spell's called Familia.
Familia? What does it do? The spell Familia bound within this gem is used to summon a familiar. Familiars appear out of nowhere, glide through the air, and vanish when their task is accomplished. They're an evil, bloodthirsty spirits used by witches to perform outrageous crimes. Evil spirits? Are you saying that the witch used a familiar too? It was a familiar that took Sir Belduke's life, and now it has appeared again. Sir Silcat was probably trying to ward off the evil spirit with his knife. But what good is a knife against an occult creature? It completed the task given to it by the witch and promptly vanished. Thus bringing us to the conclusion that Sir Belduc and Sir Silcat were both killed by the same witch. What? Rubbo. What an unexpected turn of events. The two incidents have been shown to be connected, due to the same witch's scepter having been used in both cases. Shit. Shit.
Oh, this is terrible. Now Maya is accused of 2 murders. Oh, dearie me. I was right as always. This gruesome murder will be in the next exam. Be sure to take notes. Now I shall divulge what really happened.
We are all ears, Miss Primstone.
That hatmaker was pointing the knife at the witch's familiar.
Pressing on that again.
Hold it!
Did you actually see the familiar?
Oh, dearie me! No, I did not! When that boy opened the door, the familiar had just disappeared. Had the boy opened the door sooner, no doubt we all would have seen it. If he were my student, I would have made sure to teach him not to dilly-dally.
Wow, rude! Luke does not approve!
Hang on!
Is everything alright, Luke? You seem to be in deep thought about something.
No, it's not right at all!
Is there something in Miss Primstone's testimony that you'd like to comment on?
That's what I keep telling you! The professor wouldn't point a knife at anyone! Dearie me! What an impetuous child! I'm telling you, I saw a knife! I distinctly saw a glint of a sharp blade!
Objection!
Luke really needs his own theme. At any rate, as we can see now, the victim's arm is missing. As such, there is no proof that he had a knife.
Objection!
That is but a mere detail, it matters not.
A mere detail? Matters not!
Luke! Oh my. Anyhow, I wonder, where could that missing arm be?
Yeah, that to be looked onto!
Oh? Amir?
Hang on!
Mister, do you have something you'd like to share with us? Mr. Amir! It's Mr. Emil Punchinbag the First to you, Bluey! The likes of you ought to show some respect for a future man of wealth such as me. You seem to be looking ahead to a future full of newly gained riches. I can look wherever I bleed and please. Anyway, why are you looking at me like that? I don't know about that golden bloke's right arm.
Excuse me, Mr. Wright.
What is it, Espella?
I may be wrong, but there's something about that man. Wouldn't you say he looks, suspicious?
Things I wish we could do in this game. Use the Magatama. It's not just you. Everything about him is so shady it makes me want to double check my pockets. Mr. Amir, stop pretending you don't know anything about the victim's missing arm. Pretending? I told you I know nothing. Nada. Zero. Nil. I ain't seen it or heard about it or put it in me pocket. Put it in your pocket? It wasn't me, honest. Seriously, I've got nothing to do with it.
Objection!
Uh-oh. Someone objects to this.
Mia! You lying, cheating, good for nothing, you tried to deceive me!
Uh-oh. That's the pawnbroker! I think we've all figured out what happened. Order! Order! Who is this person? You want to know who I am? I'm Bryce the pawnbroker! And this man is a shameless, cheating bum! He had the nerve to lie to me! What did he lie to you about? I'll tell you! On the day of the crime, Emil came to my shop. He waltzed up to me saying he got his hands on a superb work of art, rare as gold dust. I think I know where this is going. That work of art, could it be? I've got it right here! Just like I thought. That's... Oh my.
Professor... It's the Professor's arm! It's pure gold, exquisitely crafted. It was entitled, Towards Tomorrow or something like that. I'd never seen a piece of gold so fine before. And so, suspecting nothing, I paid that rascal a rather handsome sum. Who would have thought? And what am I hearing now? That it was a human arm, no less. You, sir, are a monster. You're as bad as a witch's familiar yourself. I don't know it. I didn't know it was his arm, I swear. When I saw it, it was already like that.
What do you mean?
I was last to the scene and it caught my eye right away. That golden arm pointed up at the ceiling with such optimism and authority. I thought it looked like it's showing me the way to a brighter, richer tomorrow.
Amir, please.
To me, it was a work of art, a precious one at that.
And then it found its way into your pocket and you pawned it. You mounted it on a crude stand, gave it a tawdry title, and passed it off as some kind of sculpture. Don't try and look away from the truth now.
Darn it, I can look wherever I darn please. I'll look away from the facts and forward to the future. Always look on the bright side. That's Amir's punching bag's motto!
I feel like he just came out of the Holy Grail or something. Where were we now? Yes, the victim's arm has now been successfully reattached by one of our masterful craftsmen. Knights of the court, you may resume the Inquisition. At least one thing's clear now. As everyone can see, the victim definitely wasn't holding a knife.
Oh, dearie, dearie me! It seems I may have been mistaken after all. When you think about it, the victim had already turned to gold when we entered the room.
According to the witness's testimony, that was the case, yes.
Well then, I'm sure you can see that it was easy to mistake that glittering pointing finger for a knife.
Indeed, the victim's finger has a glint to it resembling that of a sword's edge. Such a sense of power and intensity. It's enough to send a shiver down the spine of anyone being pointed at. Whatever, guys.
No puzzle is a match for the power. No puzzle is a match for the power of the professor's pointing finger.
I guess no one remembers I'm known for pointing like that too. Oh no, poor Wright! Yeah, I think Phoenix Wright was the first person to actually do the pointing, considering I think Layton came after Phoenix Wright.
I think your pointing finger makes quite an impression too, Mr. Wright.
She's just taking pity on me. Is that all you had to say, Sir Blue Knight? Huh? As I said before, whether the victim had a knife or not is completely irrelevant.
Yeah, what he said. You better apologize to me now. Badgering me for no reason like that.
Is that all there is to it? Or could that arm hold some other clues?
You've come this far. Maybe there's something else you could ask about.
Gee, I don't know. Maybe we could ask about what he was pointing at. She's right. I need to ask some more questions. Well then, Mr. Amir, perhaps you could tell me one more thing about that arm. Where was it lying? Let's start with that. You found the arm on the floor, pointing upwards, you said.
Yeah, I did. Finders keepers, I said. It was pointing straight up at the ceiling.
That arm somehow happened to fall down in such a way that it landed upright. What are the odds of that? Actually, that reminds me of a puzzle. Let's not do puzzles in court right now! Now, if you could just show us on this floor plan here. I'd like to know the exact spot where you found the victim's arm.
Sure, I remember that well. It was right here.
Yes. That's where you would expect it to have fallen. Now if that's where it was, then something's definitely not right. If you keep looking at that sketch so intensely, you shall burn a hole in it. Or perhaps You're going to claim there's a contradiction in it somewhere. Yeah. This arm is the final clue left by the professor. Even after turning to gold, he was pointing out something important. Namely, the key to solving this case. Well, defendant, do you see any problems in the locations as marked on the sketch? Yes, there is a problem. Of course there is a problem. And what would that be, precisely? The professor's arm has armed me with some vital evidence. Right, please. The location leads to a huge contradiction. Rubble. In that case, why don't you enlighten us and show us this so-called contradiction? Alright, let's make sure I can actually point it out this time. What contradiction does the victim's arms create? Alright, we're gonna pick the Talia Magica. Hopefully it will not fuck me over.
Got it!
The contradiction is right here. And this is the witch's scepter. Let's go over the order of events as per the witnesses' testimonies. First, the witch cast a spell on the professor, turning him to gold. When all of you rushed to the crime scene, that golden statue fell down, making a loud noise. Next, the witch dropped the scepter. What are you getting at, Sir Blue Knight? All witnesses agreed with this order of events. Okay? That's right, they all agree that's how it happened. But then there's the arm. Well, what about it? Spit it out. Let's assume that Maya was the witch. Now look at the sketch again. The witch dropped the scepter after having turned the professor into gold. The scepter tumbled along the floor and was found here, as asserted by the prosecution. However, that would be impossible. There's no way it could have been there. Oh, I see it now. The arm. It was... I'm glad you seem to have noticed. The victim's arm was on the floor right here, standing on its head. Therefore, the scepter couldn't possibly have fallen that way. Ergo, it couldn't have been the defendant who dropped the scepter. In other words, Maya is not a witch. Ugh. Order! How can this be? The Inquisition's reasoning has been proven invalid through just one single piece of unusual evidence. Call it Layton's magical touch. The professor sacrificed his arm to leave us just the evidence needed to turn this thing around.
That was amazing, Mr. Wright. Professor!
Objection!
An admirable deduction, Sir Blue Knight. That I cannot deny. Even if we were to assume your reasoning is correct and that girl in the cage is not a witch. Even if? In the many trials I've attended, I have become well versed in certain aspects of magic. I am all too aware of its potential to confuse people, befuddle their minds, and make their memories hazy. No one can resist such a maddening influence. What are you trying to say, Inquisitor? The scepter could not have tumbled across the floor if the arm were in its way. However, can we be sure that is where the arm was? Are all of the witnesses able to confirm its location at the time?
Objection!
We've heard what they had to say several times now. They agreed that the scepter fell after the victim fell over.
Objection!
And yet no one actually saw the scepter being dropped. Witnesses, think back to that incident once more. Did the golden statue fall over first? Or did the staff fall before it? Think carefully about what you have seen and heard. Everything hinges on your testimonies. May your words guide us to the truth and decide the fate of this caged witch. I was about to get ready to leave, but it seems there is need for further questioning. Testify once more, witnesses. Tell us of the golden statue and the Talia Magica. I'm gonna have to stop after this witness testimony, I think.
I was only focusing on the professor, so I don't remember much else.
Oh, great. Well, I don't know. I got there last. Besides, that thing was glinting and glittering away, so I couldn't see much else.
Bewitched by love or beloved by a witch, the poor cub knows not which is which. Dearie, hey, I remember. How obvious it seems now. The staff was dropped before the statue fell over.
You're the only person who says that. Whoa, wait a minute. What you all said just now is totally different from your previous testimonies. Sir Blue Knight, you are starting to notice it now, aren't you? That is the way of magic. Such is the effect this black art tends to have upon those who witness it. The witnesses are not lying, but simply having trouble remembering the truth. Oh, because it's witchcraft, okay. What a convenient excuse. Confronted with magic, their brains turn to mush, huh? Ever since our ancestors drank from the fountains of wisdom and attained capacity of reason, witchcraft has been the one thing to remain incomprehensible, even to the most intelligent of us. Nevertheless, the onus is on us to stand up against magic and pass judgment on these witches. And so, here we are, doing battle with weapons of the wise. Words. With words we shall pass judgment upon this supposed witch. Defender, you may begin your interrogation and help us arrive at the truth.
Okie dokie, we'll do that in the next video. So I'll see you guys then. Adieu.